We have arrived. This is Route 941, brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe.
This is Dennis. Glad you're riding shotgun with me as we travel our region to find the best in local country music. Tonight we're headed to Annapolis Valley in Nova Scotia. We're going to be chatting with Jason Spinney from Wichita. Now let me tell you about Wichita. They've become known as the hardest working band on the East Coast. They've recorded 3 full-length albums in Nashville. They've released 5 singles to Canadian country radio. Tonight I have their lead singer, Jason Spinney. Welcome to Route 941 on Country 94.
Hey, Dennis, thanks for having us tonight. I really appreciate this.
Hey, my pleasure. You and I have actually performed on the same stage a number of years ago. 2016, we were at the Montague Summer Days Festival in PEI.
Yes, you know what? You did bring back that memory for me, and still can't believe that we had a show that night, because if I remember correctly, it was absolutely terrible weather.
Noah was in the process of warming up the ark, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it was. I thought there's just no way we're going to have a show, and then by the time we got things underway, I guess your band went on, and we did. I think even the Stanfields played that night, so it ended up being kind of a raucous night. But you would have never been able to predict that about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, sir. And it was weird, too, because the sun came out, and it would be beautiful, and then it would just pour buckets of rain. And we had some beautiful rainbows, too, though.
I still remember that now, thinking, there's just no way this show's going to go, but it did. And that harkens back to what you said about being one of the hardest working bands. Man, I feel like we've played every festival under every seashell and rock across Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, but we're not complaining. We absolutely love doing that and getting out in front of the people. And of course, now that you can't right now, when you think about those memories, they are pretty special when you look back on it. Back on it now.
Absolutely. So since we're talking about performing in front of a crowd, do you remember the first time that you actually got up in front of a band and sang in front of a crowd?
Oh my gosh, that's taken me back many, many, many years. My brother in the band Wichita, we've played in bands our whole lives together. We've never not sort of performed. My brother Jason Spinney, whenever we performed together. So we were in several bands. My dad's country band, a traditional country band that even toured Australia back in the 90s. The one that I remember the most was when we started Wichita. I still remember it's a little club here in the Annapolis Valley called the Union Street Cafe. On that stage that night, Wichita was born with bass player Terry Salzman and our onstage band leader Don Allen Kendall and my brother Jamie on drum. That's where the band was born that night on the stage, and we still go back and do a show there, usually about once a year, just to pay tribute to those folks that supported us way back when we first started things. And so we'll go into the little club, and we've even done a CD release there, sort of a soft release before the big release, just to say thanks and let those folks hear the music before anyone else does, just because that's where it all started for us. I guess that was like back in maybe 2010, probably now.
Wow, that's awesome. They get to see the evolution of the band. They saw what it was like when you were starting out, and now you've got everything all polished up. And by the way, you're sounding really, really good.
Well, thanks, man. I will say this, and I know I'm speaking to a fellow musician, that it is part of the craft. I do believe that you get better at what you do the more you put into it. Live performances come, leaps and bounds from where it was back in 2010. Because we've been together as a unit for so long, people come away from our show saying, I can't believe how tight you guys are. Can't say that we sit down and go, okay, guys, we got to play this song really tight, because we've played together so long. We know, the moves my brother's going to make on the drums before he makes them, because it's like being on a hockey team and playing with the same guy on the same line for so many years. You just know where he's going to put the puck. We're not all blood brothers, but we certainly are a band of brothers, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. My friend Paul Owen is a drummer that I've played with for a number of years in various bands, and as a bass player, I could read Paul really well, and he could read me really well. So if the singer was going into a vamp of some sort, then he would look at me, and I knew by the way he was dragging his sticks we were going someplace, and we'd just follow each other, and it was so much fun.
That's the greatest feeling on stage, too, isn't it? When you just you have each other's backs. Even when we do some cover songs, people always say to us, too, they go, well, we never heard that song that way, but it just sounds like Wichita. I said, well, that's what we want. When we play music, we just want it to sound like a Wichita song. So
there you go. And that's the whole thing right there. It's you're reinterpreting a song that everybody else knows, and you're putting your stamp on it. The song still sounds like the song, but it's got your DNA on it.
100%. You nailed it right on the head there. Yeah, perfect. In our live show, pay a lot of tribute to, the outlaws of country music. I mean, if you ever get a chance to see us, we're a bunch of Valley boys. We've got some facial hair in the band. We're country boys, and we don't make any, we don't apologize for that. Put it that way.
Since you mentioned that you, when you're performing out, you do play some cover tunes. Do you still find that fun?
Oh, absolutely. I find playing cover songs fun because people recognize them. So those are those songs in your show, or I find in our show, that people will sing along with because they already know the words. Where your own music, it's great to get it out there, but people may, if they're not hardcore fans, they don't necessarily know those songs yet. So you're kind of introducing them to it. But I will say, as far as the most rewarding for us now on stage, now that we have been together so long, is when we do our own material and we have people singing along with it. That's when you finally go, wow, this is fun. All this hard work is paying off. People are recognizing these songs. We're like, okay, finally, this is what it must feel like on some scale when you talk about a larger main star act. What it must feel like when people are singing their songs back to them,
Oh, that's just magic right there. Now, here are some past performances where I know for a fact that you probably had all kinds of people singing along with you. 2014 East Coast Music Awards, 2014-2016 Nova Scotia Music Awards, 2015 Canadian Country Music Awards, 2019 Rogers Hometown Hockey National Broadcast, Cavendish Beach Music Festival in PEI, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. My goodness, Wichita was a fixture there.
I always tease the guys in the band. I think they must like what we do, or we're like a bad cold. We just never go away.
Let's just talk about the Cavendish Beach Music Festival for a second here. You don't get the call back unless you can get the crowd.
Well, we were over the moon the first year we went, and things went really, really well. And then the email came a second year, and then a third year, and it was like, we must be doing something right, fellas. Cavendish Beach is special. You're up close and personal with the fans, and that's what we absolutely love about that event, for sure.
And everything was going so great for you guys, and then so many other great maritime artists as well. And then 2020 happened. Now, rather than focusing on the negative, what I've been finding is that artists like yourself are now able to use, or have been using that time creatively to take time to write new material and even record full albums. What has Wichita been doing this past year?
Being country boys, out here in the Annapolis Valley. So, technology-wise, maybe we weren't as savvy as most. But when the pandemic hit, we got into kind of doing regular Zoom. There's nothing else we could do. We were locked down. Even though we live very close to each other, we follow the rules. So we decided we would attempt this, virtually. We got creative. All 4 band members writing all in one session was really a lot of fun. We ended up writing about upwards of 50 songs. So we kind of have this bulk of songs that we are looking to kind of narrow down to a final, album project. But when we wrote the song "She's My Whiskey," which is our latest single, we knew we had to fast track that to radio. We just went, you know what? This is a pandemic, and everybody's kind of down and out right now, and this is not a song about the pandemic. This is not a protest song. This is not a sad song. This is just an upbeat, fun, let's sing along tune. And we were like, we need to fast track it to radio. So we ended up working remotely with our producer in Nashville, John Nicholson at Hilltop Studio. And then we were able to, when the quarantine was lifted, we got in and did some work also in Halifax, at the Sonic Temple studio, and sort of, with technology now, you don't have to be right in the same room to do all the recording. So we kind of pieced everything together, and man, we did fast track it, and we were able to get the song out to radio right away and get it released here. I guess it was a few weeks ago that we released it to Canadian radio.
Well, I tell you what, "She's My Whiskey" is a fantastic song. I've been jamming it in my truck for the past week or so, and I can sing along. I know all the words. I'm bopping along, and I tell you what, I can hear a bit of Little Texas in there. I can hear a little bit of Sawyer Brown. It's just a great driving song, and I can picture this being played at top volume with a huge crowd at Cavendish.
Oh, Dennis, man, you are you're giving me all the good feels here tonight, man. That is, I'm going to share that with all the bandmates, what you said here tonight, because we'll take that as a huge compliment. We really do appreciate that, and that's what we aim to do is to write music that people want to sing along with, and this one has that vibe for sure. And those bands that you referenced, some of our favorites all time, absolutely, we have some of those influences on what we're doing, so on what we're creating today. So thanks, I appreciate that, man, really do.
I love it. Thank you so much for chatting with me tonight, Jason.
And Dennis, it's been an absolute blast, man. I want to thank you and thank your listeners, and I hope that they'll continue to check out our music and check Wichita out online at www.wichita.com. But please check us out, say hello, and Dennis, I hope we get out on the road again sometime and our paths are going to cross on another stage somewhere. We'll have another great memory together.
I can't wait to jam with you, my friend.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Jason Spinney from Wichita, thanks so much for chatting with me tonight at Route 941 on Country 94. From the hardest working band on the East Coast, this is Wichita and their latest single, She's My Whiskey, on Country 94.
She's got a camel ball hat, blonde hair peeking out the back, loves a calico cat, she jams to the Hag and Johnny Cash. She's a country girl at heart, parties a little too hard, and she won't back down, she's a real wild card. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. Mix it all together for a real good time. No hangover, we're stone cold sober. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. I'm a simple kind of man, got a solid game plan. Skinner fan, rockin' a farmer's tan. Yeah, I'm crazy about this girl. Thump, thump, thump goes my heart. She's been rocking my world, half cut buzzing from the start. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. Mix it all together for a real good time. No hangover, we're stone cold sober. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. She's got me believing, made for each other, two of a kind. It's a crazy feeling, we're drunk on each other all the time. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. Mix it all together for a real good time. No hangover, we're stone cold sober. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. Mix it all together for a real good time. No hangover, we're stone cold sober. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine. Mix it all together for a real good time. No hangover, we're stone cold sober. She's my whiskey, I'm her wine.
Thanks for riding with me as we check our region to find the best in local original country music. Come back again next week and I'll feature another artist. Route 941 is brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe and Country 94.